New economic protests in Tehran challenge Iran's government. Tehran, Iran. A wave of spontaneous protests over Iran's weak economy swept into Tehran on Saturday, with college students and others chanting against the government just hours after hardliners held their own rally in support of the Islamic Republic's clerical establishment. The demonstrations appear to be the largest to strike the Islamic Republic since the protests that followed the country's disputed 2009 presidential election. Thousands already have taken to the streets of cities across Iran, beginning at first on Thursday in Mashhad, the country's second-largest city and holy site for Shiite pilgrims. The protests in the Iranian capital, as well as President Donald Trump tweeting about them, raised the stakes. It also apparently forced state television to break its silence, acknowledging it hadn't reported on them on orders from security officials. Counter-revolution groups and foreign media are continuing their organized efforts to misuse the people's economic and livelihood problems and their legitimate demands to provide an opportunity for unlawful gatherings and possibly chaos, state TV said. The protests appear sparked by social media posts and a surge in prices of basic food supplies, like eggs and poultry. Officials and state media made a point Saturday of saying Iranians have the right to protest and have their voices heard on social issues. However, protesters in Tehran on Saturday chanted against high-ranking government officials and made other political statements, according to the semi-official Fars news agency. Hundreds of students and others joined the new economic protest at Tehran University, with riot police massing at the school's gates as they shut down surrounding roads. Social media videos purport to show clashes between protesters and police in several areas. At least 50 protesters have been arrested since Thursday, authorities said. State TV also said some protesters chanted the name of Iran's one-time Shah, who fled into exile just before its 1979 Islamic Revolution. Many in Iran are learning about the protests and sharing images of them through Telegram, the mobile phone messaging app popular among the country's 80 million people. Iran's telecommunications minister Mohammad Javad Azariani wrote to Telegram CEO Pavel Durov on Saturday, complaining about one chat channel was encouraging hateful conduct, use of Molotov cocktails, armed uprising and social unrest. Durov responded by saying Telegram suspended the account. The Telegram channel Madness started to instruct their subscribers to use Molotov cocktails against police and got suspended due to our no calls for violence rule. Be careful, there are lines one shouldn't cross, Durov tweeted. The semi-official Tasnim news agency later quoted the deputy commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard base, Brig. General Ismail Hazari, as saying, peace has returned to the city of Tehran and its surroundings. He added that if inflation was the reason the protesters took to the streets, they should not have destroyed property, according to the report. Earlier Saturday, hardliners rallied across the country to support Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and others. The rallies, scheduled weeks earlier, commemorated a mass 2009 pro-government rally challenging those who rejected the re-election of hardline President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad amid fraud allegations. State TV aired live the pro-government 9-day epic rallies, named for the date on the Iranian calendar the 2009 protests took place. The footage showed people waving flags and carrying banners bearing Khomeini's image. In Tehran, some 4,000 people gathered at the Musila Prater ground in central Tehran for their rally. They called for criminal trials for Mir Hossein Mousavi and Mahdi Karudi, leaders in the 2009 protests who have been under house arrest since 2011. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, whose administration struck the 2015 nuclear deal with world powers, campaigned on freeing the men, though they remained held. Mohsen Iraqi, the Shiite cleric who serves in Iran's Assembly of Experts, praised Rouhani's efforts at improving the economy. However, he said Rouhani needed to do more to challenge enemy pressures. We must go back to the pre-nuclear deal situation, Iraqi said. The enemy has not kept with its commitments.